It's time to roll, time to slay, time to loot. Grab your dice, ready up, let's go!
First of all, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. We're kicking off your 0.5s with the Embers of Anarchy campaign. So campaign 1 of the Chronicles of Celestria. We're going to be jumping in with 2 players today, sharing a 0.5 session. So this will be basically, we're going to start off within the world of Celestria, more specifically the region of Verdantara, and zooming in even further down, you've got the city of Sylvanthal. Those of you who are currently living and working here will know that this is the elven capital city of the world of Celestria. It is where elves are said to have descended from. It's the main base for all sort of land-based elves, high elves, wood elves. This is sort of their main area where they would live. You do get all walks of life. You get dwarves, you get Goliaths, you get halflings, and you get fairies. This whole sort of melting pot of cultures all comes together in the capital city of the elves, Sylvanthal. We begin today's session in none other than the city streets, where we see ourselves outside none other than the illustrious Moonspire Archives. This is the grand building of Celestria for all things historical. Any sort of arcane artifacts may be considered lore-wise, or key archivists work here to try and sort of archive any of the historical data that the elves ever come across, any artifacts which might presumably be rare or mythical, some are even legendary, as well as any sort of books, notes, and it's almost seen as a library to many of the locals around the area. It's a lovely summer's day. You guys can feel a gentle breeze outside if you're walking around. There's the fresh scent of springtime. You feel as though this building, the Moonspire Archives, is in a really perfect position. It rises like a crystalline spire above the skyline of the surrounding area. It's a perfect blend of elven elegance and arcane grandeur. Inside, the air is filled with a scent of vellum and enchanted ink. Tall, ivy-wrapped bookcases stretch toward a vaulted ceiling of glass where soft starlight filters through even by the daytime. Gentle blue lanterns also hover in the air indoors, bobbing lazily above scribing desks, magical artifacts resting behind glass, glowing orbs seen on the upper levels. But on the ground floor, we have our books, and that is where we begin today's session, as I move you into the Moonspire Archives. Here, we find ourselves on the ground floor of the illustrious Moonspire Archives, where students all around are scribing away at their desks on the sides. You have in the center of the building, down near the reception, scribbling away on the note, Archivist Silverian. A very tall, slender gentleman with pale white hair and a very illustrious look about him. He clearly means business. Behind him, we have one of his newest recruits at the Moonspire Archives, as I like to invite our first player. Lan, please can you introduce your character to us?
Okay, her name is Mirabelle Moreau, and she is a really young fire genasi lady. She just out of her teens. She still has like that sort of air of adolescence about her. She has ash gray skin, and it's cracked, and it almost appears like there's lava coming through the cracks. She has orange eyes and a mop of very unruly hair, like curly hair. She tries to braid it, but it doesn't really work out. So there's just strands of hair flowing in every direction, basically. And she wears pretty elaborate clothes. You can see she's from a pretty wealthy background, like lots of lace, long flowy skirt, but it's very clean too. But if you look a little bit more closely, you might see that there's some wear and tear here and there. There's some holes peeking through the skirts. But she tries to cover that up very well. So, but yeah, she's maybe not as wealthy as she seems.
Perfect. And as you've introduced Mirabelle Moreau to us all, Mirabelle, you've spent the last couple of weeks basically getting to know the library, the ins and outs of the books around the place. Before you is what you regard as your desk. It's actually a seating area for anybody coming in and out, but this has become your sort of central workplace within the building. You're very used to dealing with Silvarian, Archivist Silvarian. He is quite a tough sort of gentleman to get around, to get a read on, but he's stern but fair. And it's at this moment that you hear from him as he's scribbling away at the desk. Mirabelle!
Oui?
I need you to do me a favor.
Oui, monsieur. What is it?
As you see him step back from his table with a sort of a pile of what appears to be envelopes tied together with a thin sort of vine holding it together, and on the top of it is a sealed wax seal. Mirabelle, I need you to take these letters and deliver them to the town hall. Do you know where that is?
Would I know where that is?
You would know. You would know that the town hall is just north of the river. I would say that you're familiar with where the town hall would be. It's sort of, you're currently in Market Row, which is a very bustling sort of hub area. It's known for having different market stalls, a lot of sort of blacksmiths, armorers, all kinds of wares and goods from all around, as well as botanical sort of shops and alchemists as well. Among all of those, you then have the spire that is the Moonspire Archives. You would know that to get to the town hall would probably take you about an hour on foot, maybe 45 minutes if you're quick. And it's at this moment that he looks to you as you sort of ponder taking these from him. He looks at you and goes, "These need to be urgently delivered to the town hall. We have no time to spare. This is urgent, and it needs to go there immediately. Do it at your earliest, I implore you."
Oui, naturellement, monsieur. I'll go at once.
As he then hands you these...
I just see myself, like...
Yeah, I like to think it's like...
Still a bit awkwardly, like, oh...
Yeah, it's sort of like 10 or 15 envelopes put together. It's an awkward amount, and it's got a bit of weight to it. It's not just sort of paper. It's got a bit more weight than the books around you that you're used to traveling around. This is not an uncommon task. It's something he quite often asks you to do, is send these letters on. He actually, you know that the person before you in this position was late in delivering the last of these letters to the town hall, and that's why a position was made available. So you are very keen to deliver these, and he looks to you with that sort of knowingness that you know what the consequences might be. So he hands over to you these 15 letters. He goes, "Be on your way, go on down there," and he points towards the door down towards the south here. There's just a door where the light is bleeding into the room, and sends you on your way.
Yeah, and I'll just sort of scurry off, like, still awkwardly holding them, like...
Perfect. As you... Oh, yes. As you step outside, you see, before you, I will now take you to the map of Silvanthal so you can have a look for yourself. Here you are currently. Now, you know that being on the edge of Merchant's Row, next to Willow Creek, is where the Moonspire Archives is currently based. You know that the town hall is just across the river with a blue roof. It's very obvious. It's a place that people often travel to and from, especially politicians, nobles, and other folk who have things they want to get across to the mayors of the town and the areas and districts of the city. So yeah, I suppose, do you head towards the town hall?
Yeah. Although I do wonder as I'm sort of not running but walking very brisk pace.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder what's in those scrolls.
Yeah. I mean, would you like to do an insight check or something to see if how much do you care about what's in these scrolls? Is it more curiosity?
I care, but I don't care enough as to want to break any of the seals.
Perfect. You see that it's quite tightly bound, and the paper is very hard to read through, so you know that there's no real way for you to get into them or see what's on them without opening it. It's at this point, though, that as you step outside the front, you notice that there are two routes you could go. There's the longer route, which takes you through Merchant's Row, where you'd have to walk through a lot of people. And then there's it usually takes you about an hour and a half. That's sort of this way, and then across the river. Or there's going the shortest, most sort of proper route that you're familiar with, which is across the water immediately, and then along Heartwood, which is a sort of noble district. Which way?
I would definitely take the second one.
Okay, so you would take the known route. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. As we then take you to Sylvanthal City. So you continue to walk down the road. You are familiar with the area. It's actually quite quiet in this direction, unusually so. As you're sort of walking towards what can be described as the Elven Palace in the distance, you can see sort of the river archways up ahead of you to cross over the bridge. It's eerily quiet, but it is the middle of an afternoon. Most of the sort of hustle and bustle of the city would be in sort of the Merchant's Row and maybe the Harbour District, where there's sort of lots of people shipping things and moving things around. There's not too much happening with regards to this area, but this is a little bit quieter than normal. Do you proceed onwards, or does this seem off to you?
I don't think so. I think I would just focus the task at hand now.
Okay.
Now that my curiosity has sort of been sated regarding the scrolls, like, can't open them anyway. I'll just
So you just continue on.
I'll just continue on, yeah.
Perfect. As you continue on, you step across the bridge. It's a nice stone bridge with like marble stone and essences on it. And as you sort of walk across it, past the lamppost, over the bridge, you feel a sort of calming breeze go through you. As you then arrive to the other side of the road. And you notice that ahead of you, you basically have a fountain directly ahead, and at the fountain you take a left, and that takes you right in front of the town hall that you need to reach. You're about 45 minutes into this walk, 45 minutes into the walk, and you've come across what appears to be some sort of scaffolding. It looks as though the ground around this house here, something's happened to this house, is either broken, or there's sort of a burn mark on the ground. There's all sorts of rubbish strewn out on the street coming from this house, as there's a gaping hole in the building, and it looks like it sort of continues out to the ground. But there is what appears to be sort of scaffolding not only on the ground but all the way up to sort of get to the rooftops. It looks like work has begun on some of the tiling and removing some of the equipment. You know that you have about 15 minutes to deliver this to the town hall, and there's no other way to get around this. So, what is it you would like to do?
I think about my past a little bit, and I see no problem here. I can climb that scaffolding.
Oh, you try and climb the scaffolding?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll lift up my skirt. I'll make sure like I tie everything up so that my beautiful clothes won't snag on anything. And then I can climb over this.
Okay, so you start to sort of walk up to it and start to climb over it. Can I please ask you for either an athletics or dexterity check, please? Just a flat dex check. We'll have athletics or acrobatics.
I'll take the acrobatics.
Cool.
A 17.
A 17 is decent. You start to climb your way up onto the sort of scaffolding as you climb up the first sort of, it's almost 2 stories high. So you climb up the first set of planks, and you notice that it appears to wobble as you start to get towards the top. You think that you might be able to get through, or you might be able to just skirt through the scaffolding, or you'd either have to go sort of around to the right where it's slightly lower, or over the top. And I'm going to ask you, as you're on this first platform with sort of bars and scaffolding to get through, you can either go up and over or through it. What would you like to do as you're carrying these letters?
Yeah. I try to go up and over, see if I can, like, put the letters and I take it I have them in like a little bag or something right now.
Yeah.
That I put that on top of the scaffolding first and then try to climb over.
Sure. So you sort of swing your bag up on top and place it on the. Perfect. As you do so, as you sort of leave it on the top, you notice that as your bag swings up, it sort of catches on the ledge slightly, and it's sitting on the top level, but you had to sort of swing it up there. And as it lands there, you notice that it appears even more sort of wiggly, for lack of a better word. It sort of jostles slightly. What would you like to do next?
I'm still fearless. I continue on, but I really, really, really try to keep my balance.
Okay. Can I kindly ask you for another acrobatics or athletics check, please?
15.
As you clamber up onto the top, you successfully, with a 15, you successfully find your balance on top of the scaffolding. As you look around you, sort of almost like you're on a surfboard, you're sort of wiggling from side to side. You pick up your bag next to you with these sort of envelopes that you need to deliver, and you notice that the other side appears to be scorch marks. You see sort of burnt marks all over the ground. You also see trash strewn all over the floor. But what you see now that you didn't see before is that there appears to be a slight hole in the pavement beneath the scaffolding. As you're standing on the top, you feel that gentle breeze that you felt earlier coming from behind you, from where the bridge was. What would you like to do next? You have 2 levels to climb down, so I imagine you try and clamber down rather than just jumping off. As you're sort of 2 stories up. What would you like to do next? How do you do this?
Basically the same way I went up, but like a bit faster maybe. I mean, going down should be a little bit easier. I mean, I can maybe assume, I don't know, if sort of slide down the poles of the scaffolding a little bit.
Okay, so you try and use the scaffolding, like the poles, to sort of help yourself get down.
Yeah, and I mean, help myself get down as well as sort of maybe steady it a little bit, like.
Okay. So you're sort of holding on to one of the bars to try and help yourself clamber down. As I ask you for another athletics and acrobatic check, please. You're halfway there. With a 16, you successfully make it across that one. You're now 1 level above the ground. It's still too far to just jump down. You'd have to climb down. So you'd have to do one last one to try and successfully find your footing on the ground below you.
Yeah, there's really not much else I can do. So
Perfect.
yeah, I'll just.
As I ask you for another athletics acrobatic check.
I mean, if I fall now, it's not that bad, is it?
True. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad.
With 12.
A 12. It's at this moment where trying to steady yourself on the scaffolding bars, you've got sort of 2 silver bars with a slanted bar across it. As you find your footing and sort of lower yourself down slowly, you go to put your foot on the slightly slanted one, and it gives as you feel the entire scaffolding fall around you. And without even a moment's notice, you fall. But not just to the ground. This time you've fallen into the hole. And it's at this moment where we cut to our other player, to the sewers. Let me just change the music real quick. As we cut to the sewers themselves. Here, the sewers of Sylvanthal are very, very packed. They're filled with all sorts of pipes and wires. There's boxes and crates throughout. Zelentrus, you would know that the sewers that you've sort of seen and become accustomed to, these sewers are vast and expansive. There's all sorts of water running through, especially from the river above. These pipes are all designed in a way to try and keep the water flow natural. And they've used, you can tell that rather than the elven architecture above, there's clearly some dwarven and gnomish expertise going on here to forge these pipes in such a way that makes the water very, very sort of efficient. You're very accustomed to the smell. You know what it's like down here. You're accustomed to the smell. You're accustomed to the damp. As we then show ourselves in this workshop where there's dimly lit lanterns in the corners. There's a couple desks which have clearly been thrown together last minute. They sort of wobble because the stones beneath them aren't quite flat. You feel that beneath these polished streets of Sylvanthal is this twisting warren of tunnels, century-old sewerways built from mossy bricks and rusted iron. The air is damp and thick with mildew, echoing with the distant sound of dripping water and the occasional chitter of vermin. Amid the gloom sits a torch-lit outpost, this area here. And you know that there's a staircase, there's a couple of these throughout the city. As opposed to sort of manhole coverings, you have little trapdoors behind buildings like taverns, and you have little areas where kegs might be kept underground. Here is us in one of the outposts, as we then show ourselves in the sewer tunnels at one of the outposts. As I would like to ask, please, our second player, Zelentrus, would you mind introducing yourself, please? Have I moved you guys?
Yes. So, Zelentrus is a slender young man, maybe in his mid-20s. He has pale skin and long white hair, and it's all covered by a worn, soiled brown cloak. He's finishing paperwork related to a new rat's nest he discovered and couldn't quite completely remove. As the quill scratches paper, his lilac eyes following, his writing arm protrudes out from under his cloak, and glowing purple cracks decorate it like a tattoo. Marks are carved across his face, and in his other hand, he is playing with a small, 12-sided stone with green markings. The Asimar is writing away here, and just at his workstation.
Perfect. As Zelentrus, as you're familiar with this area, you work here as part of a famous crew of rat catchers in the sewers here as a sort of... this is one of your outposts where many of the crews tend to different traps and journals. You would know that your supervisor, Krolic Barrelbraid, who is a grey-bearded dwarf with shoulders like kegs and a voice like a clogged drain. His sleeves are always rolled up, his boots are perpetually wet, and his demeanor is one of grim practicality. He's very much, rats don't simply vanish kind of vibes. He grumbles, and he sort of mutters a lot of what he says, and he is actually the reason you're here, as he's called you in today to come to this particular outpost. as you then hear in the corner of the room at the staircase, you hear thumps coming down the steps as Krolic steps in and says to you, "All right then, how's it going, Zelentrus? You right?"
Frolic, I said that I would get to the nest. Gerard's still sick. I got there. I couldn't get it done in one day. I'll get it done tomorrow. Please, just let me finish up.
You're right, wee lad. It's all good. I called you in today because I've come across one of these rats, and they're bigger than I've ever seen before. They're huge things. As he pulls out from a bag what appears, you can smell this, even amongst all the sewage, you can smell what appears to be a very rancid, sweet sort of smell. As he opens up this bag and pulls out a large looking body, deceased, of a rat with sort of weird blotches on its skin. At
What in
first,
Celestria?
at first glance, it's just a large sewer rat. But as he sort of lays it on the table and lifts its head, you can see that its eyes glow faintly violet. Its skin is patchy and stretched over what appears to be sort of misshapen bones in its arms. It's got tumorous growths that sort of lie along its side, almost seeming to be pulsing despite its decay. And what really strikes as weird is its front teeth have splintered into what appears to be sort of like tusks. And yeah, it looks like there's all sorts of fur that's been torn out of it. It looks particularly odd. Well, this is one that we found just around the corner here in the sewers. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what's wrong with it. Do you want to have a look? I can't work out what it is with my eyesight.
Misfortune, take it. I can give it a go. Let me. I'll use my light cantrip and brighten up the room a little bit.
Perfect. So you sort of light up the room a little bit more, make it a bit brighter where you are, and it helps with having a look at this. Do you investigate or have a look at what's in front of you?
Yeah. I'll roll an investigation check.
Yeah, you can either roll investigation or maybe animal handling. Okay, an investigation.
Investigation was the right one.
So
but only got an 11.
with an 11, you're very. You know what? I would actually say you would have advantage because you're familiar in the line of work that you're in right now. So you can roll at advantage.
Okay. Sorry, just making a note.
All good.
That's
Okay.
a 20. That's a nat 20, 25.
Okay, wow. A nat 20, so 25 overall with investigation. You're very familiar with rats. You've seen multiple of them. You've come across all variations of size, color, shape. And what you immediately notice as you've used your light cantrip here is you notice that it has all of these nasty features which I described previously, but it also has something which appears to be almost like sigils or markings that have been carved into it, almost as if it's been branded in some way. Its fur is patchy in areas, and you can work out that there appears to be some sort of sigils. Though with a 25 they're not familiar to you, you do get the impression that these are sort of an arcane sigil, and they're very faintly branded into the fur. It's as though some sort of ritual or some sort of mark here has been happening to these rats, and that's what you see from first glance with a 25.
Well, Krolic, this does not appear to be a natural situation. I would say this is, this is a magic user's doing.
Magic user? What are they doing with
Aye.
rats?
Well, it could be someone seeking to cause some mischief in the city. I I wouldn't know.
Alright, well, I'll make a note of that. Why don't you go into the sewers and see if you can see if there's any live ones? Because we've only got this one dead one here. So, you have a look in there, and I'll do my notes here. As he sort of turns and pulls the stool out from underneath, and it sort of clinks along the floor as he's dragging it, and just sort of plops himself down to write down on these very damp-looking, messy pages strewn across his desk.
Zelentrus sighs, gets up. Do you mind if I finish this report later then?
Aye, leave it on the table here and go get your rats for us. As he sort of looks at his watch and goes back to what he's doing.
Zelentrus pockets his stone, makes sure he's got his dagger equipped, and actually, you know what? He'll cast light on the dagger, and use that as basically his light source as he goes through the sewers.
Very nice. You do know, you would know, sorry, that the sewers in these areas have been fairly well populated. There's quite a lot of torches and lanterns put up around the place. Although sort of shoddily done, probably by Sewer Master Krolic, it's still fairly well lit in here. But having that light cantrip on your dagger definitely helps aid your sort of movement around here. So yeah, what do you do next?
I will venture my way down the sewers in an attempt to see if I can. Well, apparently I've got to find one of these things.
Yep.
I'll be cautious, but yeah, this doesn't exactly seem like it's going to be a great afternoon.
Yeah, this is to be honest for you, this is quite normal work. You are paid as a rat catcher to go out and catch rats. Krolic, you know, he's got bad knees, but he definitely sends the younger fellow sort of rat catchers out to do sort of the heavy lifting, if you like. You know that ahead of you, as you're walking through this tunnel, it's got sort of mossy walls. It almost feels damp. Everything feels damp. It's like a sort of cave that's been dug out down here. As you come to the water, you see that the water in this area is actually quite low-lying. It's easy to walk in. You have set up, or maybe Krolic has set up sort of a defense wall there, which has all sorts of traps and things, but you know how to navigate your way through it. So you know how to sort of step through, and he did advise you when you left to sort of head into the right and see what you could find. Yeah.
I head down the right, and then I get to the kind of major crossroads section here with the sewer pool down the middle there.
Yes, you're familiar with this. It's you and Master Krolic, or Sewer Master Krolic, would call it the plug. It seems to be where all the wastewater coalesces together and sort of disappears into a sort of funnel or a well down below. It sinks out of the city. This is just one of many spread across the city. It's actually at this moment where you step out and you spot in the corner of your eye a small rat. Doesn't appear to be particularly different on first glance. But yeah, that's what you see.
Does it look... It's just a regular rat? Does it kind of look like it's potentially an aggressive one? Or is it more afraid of me than I am of it?
Can I have a perception check from you, please?
Yeah, of course. This is something I'm not so good at. An 11.
With an 11, you're not entirely sure. You're familiar with rats, so you would know sort of their behaviors a little bit better than others. This rat isn't making any advances towards you. If anything, it's barely even clocked that you're there. It appears to be keeping itself very still, as if waiting for you to make a move.
Okay. I'll walk. I'll take a step onto the not pavement, but the surface area there on the side.
Yeah.
And I'll take a step towards it and see what it does.
As you do so, it steps away and scurries down towards the plug and actually disappears around the corner.
Okay. In that case, something just twigs in me that this was a bit of a bad omen. But I'll look to go deeper, and I don't think that. Well, he did tell me to go right. I guess I'm going to try and cross the wooden panel part there to go a little bit deeper, and I feel like it's just a bad omen, man.
I will say, as you stepped around the corner, you know that the plug is very much a sort of a well that you do not want to fall into. The water in this area is very much deeper in this stream than in the one that you just came down. And it looks as though it's sort of, as it gets towards the plug, it's definitely getting deeper, and the rapids are picking up a bit. But as you step onto this wooden plank, you hear behind you a sort of thump as just up the river from where you are, you spot what appears to be a lady, a fire genasi lady falling through the ceiling, as sort of she splashes into the water beneath you, and you can see that the rapids that she's fallen into are actually pulling her down towards you.
I very quickly step back, and I will try to block the rapids with the wooden paddle bit here.
So you okay,
and then I'll try to reach in and grab her.
Okay, can I have a... Oh, you know what? Let's have a... Let's have either an acrobatics or athletics check, please, for this maneuver.
I have -2 to athletics, geez. So I guess that'll be acrobatics. Can I blag advantage for the fact that I'm trying to use the paddle to help me a bit here?
You know what? So how exactly are you planning to use it? Because this is quite a big plank. It would support your weight getting across.
Well, what I do is I kind of pull the plank in, and I hold it with one arm.
Okay.
So if she hits it and I can't pull her out straight away, then at least she's got something to hold on to.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, so you sort of pull that plank in towards you, so the other end falls in. It's not blocking per se. You can feel it pulls a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's say you've done that. I will allow advantage for either an acrobatics or athletics check here.
Okay, we're going to go acrobatics because the other's not great.
Let's go.
A 17 on the first roll and an 8 on the second. I'll definitely take the
first
17.
roll was enough. As Mirabelle, you feel a sort of thud in your side. You've been swept down. You're covered in this nasty water. It's stinky. It's smelly. It's damp. And before you, you see a man standing above you with a light dagger, and a wooden plank has just been kicked, sort of block you. Zelentrus, what is it you're exactly doing? Are you trying to? How are you trying to aid her here?
I say misfortune took you, and I try to pull her out of the sewer water.
Perfect. And I think with a 17, that's successful. So Mirabelle, if you accept the help from the stranger,
yeah, but I'll be swearing and and as I get up, I'm basically at the moment, for now, I'm more preoccupied with myself and the state of the scrolls that I was carrying than with whoever was saving me. So I take it the scrolls are completely ruined.
The scrolls, so the bag, you know what? Would it have been something you were trying to protect as you were falling? Or would you have been trying to cushion your fall? How would you have done this?
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's have you roll a d10. So just a flat d10 roll.
Sure.
There were 10 letters. Let's see how
6.
many survive. So 6 of the letters look like they're in decent condition. The other 4 look a little bit worse for wear. They're definitely damp. and they kind of stink as well. But everything does right now. So, but you find yourself pulled up onto the ledge by Zelentrus here. Yeah, what do you guys do?
What on earth happened to you? What on Celestria happened to you?
I fell.
I can see that.
Yes, but one moment I was on a scaffolding, and then the next moment I fell, and I ended up here. There was a kind of a hole in the ground. I do not understand. I thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for saving me. But this is going to cost me my job, my life, my everything, my livelihood. Oh, excusez-moi. I'm.
Could you not just find a nice mage who has, I don't know, prestidigitation or something and just clean them?
Magic. Well, oui peut-être, but maybe, but well, I don't have time. I need to deliver these scrolls in 15 minutes. Where would I find a mage before that? Are you a mage? Did you save me? Did you come from the heavens to save me?
Heavens is a strong word. I am of a somewhat magic persuasion, but I don't do cleaning.
And you can. Well, yeah, no, I see that actually. No.
Well,
excuse-moi. Yes.
Well, unfortunately, there's not there is an entrance just around the corner if you need to get back up to dry land. I'm kind of looking for something at the moment. We have a bit of a rat problem down here.
You don't
say. It might not be safe for you to go on your own.
Well, what do you suggest we do? Do you suggest, well, I guess my job's already forfeit as we speak anyway.
Oh, then you need a new job.
You are not suggesting I join
you can replace Gerard. Fantastic. As Zelentrus takes your arm and starts to pull you down.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fout? What?
You guys hear at this moment some sort of squeaking from the corner. For those of you who do look, you would see that there's a little rat, probably the same rat Zelentrus that you saw earlier, maybe investigating the commotion. But what you also hear as you turn around and look down is you hear what appears to sound like a sort of a clash or splash down the other end.
How many of you are falling down here today?
It was very quiet on the streets. I'm sure it was just me. But we don't have time for this. I need to go.
I thought you already accepted that your job's forfeit.
Well, yes, but no, but yeah, well, no. I don't know.
Well,
I'm a teenage girl, remember?
It's at this point where you see across the water, Mirabelle, I would say, because Zelentrus is facing you. You see what appears to be a giant rat on the other side. It is much larger than the rat at the corner, and it looks very misshapen and almost sickly. Very damp.
Vermin, there.
Oh,
you saved me before saving me again.
Well, can you do anything to give me a hand?
What do you propose?
I just believe in yourself and do something, please. As he'll use a bardic inspiration on you.
Okay, and can I ask how do you provide this bardic inspiration? How do you inspire?
That was literally
the words.
Believe in yourself. Just do something. Literally anything.
Cool. As you say that, Mirabelle, you feel this sort of I can do anything for just a moment.
I guess that just a moment would probably be enough to chuck a firebolt at that thing.
Okay, you try and shoot a firebolt at it? Yeah? Can you
Yeah.
throw up the spell for me?
I think I can. Yeah.
Okay, wow, yeah. That definitely hits. Can I please ask you to roll damage? A 22 definitely hits. As you do 8 points of damage, and you see this thing just burn to cinders in front of you as it completely, despite its dampness, completely just lights up and seems to just die and fall into... It was standing on the ledge. You've sent this sort of firebolt at it as it falls directly into the plug.
No. Oh, darn it. Well,
I mean, it's gone.
you're good at this, at least.
Merci. I try to keep it under wraps.
Well, now we have to find another one.
Another one?
Another one.
Oh no.
Follow me, and you will have a job. As Zelentrus will start making his way down.
As you make yourself... You're making your way down. As you get to that corner there, just above the plug, you can see what appears to be... You know what? Can I have a perception check? Mirabelle, if you're following as well, I'll say that both of you can have a perception check here. To see what you can see as you look sort of south down towards this area. Where you heard the splash earlier. Okay, with a 16 and a 19, you both catch... I would say with a 16, Mirabelle, you catch that there's something moving over here. And I would say that for you, Zelentrus, you can see that this appears to be another one of those larger rats. This time it appears to be very dark in color. It looks like it's sort of got patches in all sorts of areas. And what you can immediately see with a 19 from where you are is a slight purple glow. Somewhere on its tail or on its rear in some way.
I have a slight purple glow. Okay. Okay. We need to keep this one
Alive?
You know, well, just not falling into the water.
How far away is it?
From where you are right now, it is 50 foot away. Give or take.
Sleep. I cast sleep on it.
You cast sleep. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, wisdom save is a 14, so let me have a quick look here.
I also have a bardic. I know that doesn't help.
You do have a bardic, but unfortunately that doesn't work for DCs. Wisdom save, it's a natural 1. I whispered to GM, but it is a natural 1. So it definitely falls pretty much straight away unconscious as you see it just sort of flop onto the floor. Yeah, it looks like it's sort of dozing.
Zelentrus will... can I basically dash over there?
You can dash, yeah. You would know that you can't... You could either try and jump across, but from your experience, the safest way would be to go down across the shallow part of the water from one of the other pipes and then across the sort of plank. You could try and jump it if you really wanted to.
Because I can only get to here with my normal movement, and a dash would only get me halfway across the bridge. I'm just gonna jump it.
Okay. Can I have from you an athletics check, please?
You sure you don't want an acrobatics check instead?
You know what? I'll allow athletics or acrobatics.
Thank you.
Can you tell me where you're trying to make it to?
Yes, it would be just over to this side.
Okay, so straight across. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
An 18.
With an 18, you successfully leap across the water. Yeah, and you can see that before you is still this sleeping rat. As for some reason, you've jumped across the water. Is this normal for Zell? Would Zell normally just jump from one side, risking life and limb to try and get a rat? Would that be normal?
Well, he's already lost one.
Okay.
And he really kind of needs this job. Because he doesn't want to go back above the surface, man. It's once you're down here with Zell, which is why Mirabelle's got a job now, man.
Right. Okay.
He doesn't want any publicity above there, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So you arrive at the rat, and I would ask at this point, whilst Zell's run down and jumped across, Mirabelle, what is it that you're doing?
Try and figure out how to get out.
Well, you would know that behind you there appears to be a plank that sort of, as Zell pulled it across to try and block it for you, he's actually inadvertently made it more difficult to go back, because the plank sort of comes up, and the tile around it, if you were to try and go up north, is actually damp, so it might be at disadvantage to try and get around. But you could definitely try it.
Well, I guess I wouldn't know. I guess I'll just stick with Zelentrus for now, even though I kind of really don't want to. I really want to get out. But yeah, he must know a way out.
As you come down here, you see before you this sleeping rat and Zelentrus. You watch Zelentrus leap across to get this rat. And as the two of you arrive down here, you can hear what sounds almost like voices or some sort of light humming, or it's something verbal coming from around down here somewhere. Mirabelle, to you, this sounds like it could be people. It definitely sounds more human or humanoid, common sort of language. Zelentrus, you're also very perplexed by this because you haven't heard or know of anybody who would be down here. What do you guys do?
There's
People, they might know how to get out.
well, they might know how to get out, or they might know what put these on. And I start showing the sigils to.
Foul magic. Ugh, I want no part in this.
I'm gonna tie up the rat in like a or a cage or however.
I would say that you probably left knowing you're going to be looking for this rat, but not really knowing how big they get. You probably left with like a little sack to sort of put it into. But yeah, I'd say that you successfully tie it up and put it into this bag. It's at this point that you again hear that same sort of clash, like a sort of similar to the splash sound from earlier from up above. You hear that sort of cracking splash sound coming from down here, as you then begin to see some light appear on the path down here as well, coming from sort of up on the right side, which wasn't there previously.
I'll turn the light on my dagger off.
Okay.
Okay. Are you are you ready to confront whoever this is?
Confront? But why would we do so? I mean, they might be responsible, yes. They might also be, I don't know, taking a field trip. Are you all alone in here? You must have some co-workers, no?
Well, Krollik's in the outpost. This isn't really his bag. He has bad knees.
But there are not more. It's just the two of you down here.
Well, there are others, but one's sick and the sewers are a very big place, and I don't recognize these voices. They're not ones I'm familiar with, and there shouldn't be anyone in this part of the sewers today at this time.
Well, I am here also. I mean, let's greet them.
Okay. And I'm gonna like securely tuck this bag like away, whether it's like whether there's like a pin to kind of stick it onto in the sewer walls or something.
Yeah.
But just
I would say you sort of put it to the side there. It's bound. It's currently asleep in the bag. You don't see this going anywhere. But you sort of leave it there. Yeah, on sort of the side. Something, a little corner you can lean up against. Mirabelle, as you arrive to what appears to be the end of the footpath, there's some very shallow, I would say probably you can see the bottom of it despite the murkiness of the water. It's very shallow water, this sort of path in front of you. Would Mirabelle step forward into the water, or is she more likely to try and hop across?
Try and hop across.
Okay, cool. Can I have an acrobatics check, please, from you? We've done a lot
19.
of those today. With a 19, you easily, gracefully hop over, and you notice that you've got this sort of wooden plank which could take you across to the other side. Before you, you can see water coming down, almost like a little waterfall, blocking the path ahead of you anyway. So there's this little plank to get across. Cool. As you guys
What do you live in here? It reeks awfully.
As you guys move closer...
Zelentrus just says, well, I don't live here, I just spend most of my time down here. There's less people down here. It's easier with less people. Just trust me.
As you move closer, you begin to hear sort of murmurings. They're almost like rhythmic. It's very much a sort of... As you move closer. Zelentrus, you can see before you down here where the light is pouring in, there appears to be a path of some sort, but also some sort of gravel or rocks which seem to have strewn across the path. It looks as though this has sort of opened, this sort of pathway which was previously closed with but sort of rocks and all sorts, has sort of opened up. That's what you see.
We should... Well, I've been down this way before, but I don't... Would I recognize this bit, or does this seem a bit new to me?
So you definitely have been down this part of the sewers. You know that down here there is another way out as well. There's sort of an out ladder. You're familiar with this part. You're unfamiliar with much else. There appears to be, the sewers, and they lead on to more sewers. The path that seems to be flickering slightly with these sort of loose stones across them, there was previously what looked like a little path that led to a cave wall. There was nothing there. You heard a sort of crash earlier, similar to the splash, where you would probably think, knowing the sewers, you'd probably think that something or someone is down here, or maybe that wall has opened up in some way.
What was your name?
Mirabelle Moreau.
Mirabelle, could just come with me, but be really, really quiet, okay? And can I try to stealth to get closer?
Definitely. You can definitely stealth. Are you both doing this, or is it just... Yeah? Okay. Another nat 20 for Zelentrus with 25 on the stealth, as Mirabelle as well, you sort of tuck in behind him with a 16, also very stealthy, as you guys are both now sneakily leading up towards this path.
I guess we get like right outside the path, and then...
As you get to the edge of the path, I'm just going to tell you very quickly. As you arrive at the edge of the path, you hear the murmuring, but you can also hear squeaking, similar to the rats that you're familiar with. This sounds very sort of nittering and nattering of rats, but you still hear that murmuring even louder this time. That sort of as you guys get closer.
Does it sound kind of almost like religious chanting or something, or?
You know what? Can I have a religion check? And I will ask if Mirabelle, if you're also hearing this, if you could do it as well, please.
Yeah.
Religion check from you both. So Zelentrus, you're actually, you know what? I would say you'd have advantage because of your character and sort of backstory. I'd say you'd have advantage. Still,
Nat one.
with a nat 1 on your second roll and a 10 on your first one, flat 10, sorry, a 5 plus 5 bonus, a 10, you're not really sure what this is. It's maybe hard to work out for you. Mirabelle with a 14. You are definitely familiar with your readings on sort of things in the archivists, the Moonspire archives. You're familiar with things like incantations, maybe even sort of fanatical murmurings. This sort of thing is very common in sort of rituals and prayers.
Prayer circle? Why would they do that here?
It's always religion. Look, if we can sort this out, there's a ladder just ahead, and I can get you out of here. Okay?
Ah, merci.
But you
What
didn't
is that you do now?
you didn't meet me or anyone like me. Okay?
No.
Good.
Not at all.
Okay, I guess let's peek in. And I'm imagining almost like cartoonesque of like Zelentrus's head. But, yeah, just like the first head popped through and the other head popped through afterwards.
As you guys peek in, you can see that the cave walls that were previously sort of blocking this path have collapsed slightly. There's obviously been a commotion or something. It's now more like big boulders or blocks. But you can see that through this sort of crack in the path, you can see a table with a couple of what looks like herbs and other goodies on it, as well as little candles. What you immediately notice is two women stood next to a small rat. These two women appear to be very focused on what they're doing, and they're uttering something. Zelentrus, you would know that this is very weird, and the rat looks quite distressed.
Could I? It's gonna sound crazy. Can I insight the rat to see if it's distressed because we've just like fought two of the big ones, or if it's distressed because it's scared of the big ones?
You know what? What I would do is you're basically trying to see what it's afraid of, correct? Like why it's distressed. Okay, I would say you'd either have I either need a perception or a animal handling check for me, please.
Perception or animal handling?
Yeah.
They're both the same. Let's change things up and go for animal handling and see how bad this goes. That's a 9.
Perfect. With a 9, you can't tell if this is affected at all by the other larger rats that you've seen. You can't really tell if it has anything to do with that. The rat just clearly looks quite distressed, and it appears as though, despite this and the sort of squeaking that it's doing, it looks as though it can't run. It clearly is trying to move away, but is caught or trapped in some way where it is.
Are they turning it into one of the big ones?
It seems so, but why?
Well, God's damn it. Someone has to do something. As Zelentrus will bring out the orator voice and take a step in and go, "Halt! What are you doing in these sewers?"
As you do so, you notice that the sort of cult chanting that this lady is doing in front of you hasn't stopped. She's still murmuring away. But in the background, you can see an elder-looking woman. She's there with all sorts of. You see her better in this light as you step towards her. You notice that she's clearly older. She's got a hood over her head. She looks human. And she has all sorts of sort of potions and contraptions on her waist, in sort of a belt, lots of pouches and things. And she turns to you and says, don't disturb us, dearie. Don't mind us. Leave us be.
Are you responsible for the rats with the sigils outside?
Sigils? What's a sigil, dearie? Outside, we're inside.
Can I do an insight check?
You can definitely do an insight check.
With me.
You can definitely do an insight check. With a 16, you can see she's looking at you. Her eyes are very focused on what you're believing here, and you can tell that her words are minced. She's telling you all sorts of riddles and lies.
Cool. Can I kind of keep up a deception as though I'm kind of going along with it?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. This is D&D.
Cool. I'll keep up the ruse.
Okay.
Oh, that's totally fine then. So you have no issue telling me exactly what's going on here.
But no, of course not. I would love to tell you. Would you like to see the rat?
I can see the rat fine from here.
Okay, I see. As she reaches towards her pouch and pulls out from her pouch what appears to be some sort of herb. And she sort of rubs it in her fingers. And you can see that it sort of lets down an ash sort of look as she sprinkles it near the rat. This sort of thing that she's just done has a sort of purple mist to it. As you then see, the rat begins to sort of shake. It begins to sort of shudder and throw itself around as you hear cracking. As all of a sudden, this innocent-looking rat begins to transform. As you see a larger sort of deformed rat appears. This time, turning around, you can see that it has that same marking on its side, the side that she had previously towards her. Oh my! You ate a lot, dearie.
What are you doing? Oh.
These people are nuts. Can I leave now?
We have to do something about them, Mirabelle.
Pourquoi? They're just making the rats grow. Is that a bad thing?
Do you want these rats living up there?
No, but I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, they'll be living up there if we don't sort this out. What are you doing?
We're simply enjoying time with our pet rat. That's all it is. At this moment, you see that this lady who was previously murmuring has stopped, and she turns to face you both. Glasha! Who let these two in? They shouldn't be here. Now, dearie. Don't worry. They're just here to see the rat. That's all it is. Would you like to pet it? As it appears to be held in place still. Almost like it's trapped in a sort of like invisible prison.
No, merci. No. I'm good, thank you.
I'm sorry, but you cannot be doing this down here.
What do you mean? Why can't we be doing this here? Well, are you not going to report us?
It's my job to report you. This is against Sylvantho regulation.
Regulation? Okay, if that's how it has to be, dearie. As I would now like you both to please roll for me initiative. 13. It appears as though these two ladies have clearly been messing with these rats. From what you can tell, these diseased-looking rats seem to be sourced from this little cavern, this little cave. As Glasha, the elder-looking lady, looks to you. Hold on, let me just put it public so you can actually see the turn order. My bad, guys. Let's roll initiative for the rat, first of all. Sorry, bear with me. And then we have Glasha. And I will say that the cultist also takes her turn on the same time. Cool. As we have these... where's the... Did I roll? Sorry, I don't know what's happening here. Initiative was an 18, but it's not on the turn tracker.
If you just...
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I'll change it to an 18.
Again,
there we go. Cool. All right. So as you guys step in, you can
we
see...
still don't have the old lady with the silver hair.
She'll go on the cultist's turn.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So Glasha, as she was referred to, will also go at the same time as the cultist here. So as you turn, you see that the invisible sort of prison or wall that was holding this rancid-looking rat disappears. Clearly, it's been attacked or used in some way. It's been manipulated, perhaps fed by Glasha, as it then moves towards you, Zelentrus, ravenous and hungry, as he tries to sort of bite towards you.
Okay.
With an 18, so a 20 to hit.
Yeah, a 20 hits. Did it get advanced? I see a 24 on here as well.
That shouldn't be the case. Hold on.
Okay. I was just gonna...
Yeah. No. It does 3 points of damage. Don't worry. I don't know
Cool.
what's happening with the roll 20 at the moment, but So 3 points as you take 3 points of damage with its 18. Fortunately, it wasn't a crit because that would have been rough. As you take 3 points of damage. We then move to your turn, Zelentrus.
Okay. Zelentrus will... Mirabelle, have you got this?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, can I just do a quick couple of measurements to check?
Sure. Take your time.
I can get both of them in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it should be from me here, shouldn't it? So, okay, no, I'll move forward one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'll just go for both of these. I will. That gets them both, yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna use Thunder Wave.
Okay. Can you throw it up in the chat for me?
Of course I can. There you go.
Very nice.
At first level, and I will cast it.
Cool.
So it's a DC 14 Constitution save from the both of them, please.
So the cultists survives that.
Okay.
And the rat is affected, so you can roll damage for me, please.
Okay. So it's half the damage to the cultist.
Yep.
The rat takes full damage and is pushed 10 feet away from where I am.
As you see, the rat just gets vaulted away and hits against the wall and falls dead as it splatters against the sort of edge of the cave wall. As the cultist then takes 9 damage, so we'll round down, right?
Yes, round. Yeah.
Cool. So it is perfect. As you then see her, does she get moved? No, she's just taking damage.
No, she just takes the damage.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Half damage only. Perfect, yeah. Okay, cool.
And then for a bonus action, I say to Mirabelle, See? Just do what you did before. You were great before. Rat's gone, just people now. And I'll chuck another bardic inspiration away.
Okay.
I was just about to ask, do I still have the old one?
I think you probably
Oh,
still
right,
did,
okay.
but
Oh, I thought you
10
used it from
minutes,
before.
10 minutes? I don't know.
let's say you needed a refresher and your extra bardic here is kind of coming clutch. Let's then move. Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn, yes.
We then move to Mirabelle as you stand in the sort of cave entrance here.
Oh, merde. Well, he said I should just do as I did before, but, well, maybe. I'll use my innate sorcery. So I'll check that up for you as a bonus action. I think it's a little tick.
As a
thing
bonus
I
action, you
take.
can unleash that magic for 1 minute, during which you gain the following benefits. So you gain your spell save DC of your sorcerer spells is increased by 1, and you gain advantage on the attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast, and you can use it twice. So you regain. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you have advantage on your sorcerer spells that you've cast, and your spell DC increases by 1. Nice, very nice.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna sort of kind of stand behind him. It's the enemies are in a really unfortunate angle, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna listen to this dirty man, and I will use a firebolt
Perfect.
on the old lady.
Okay. Okay.
So let me plop that. I also still have a bardic.
So it's an 11 to hit.
Can I use my D6?
You can definitely use your bardic if you would like to. Do you want to use your bardic?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't trust an 11.
Cool. So it's a 3, so 14 in total does hit. You can roll damage for me.
7.
As you fire this firebolt once again straight into her, as it sort of singes her robes, she goes, "Ah! How dare you!" and sort of reels backwards slightly. Yeah. Is that the end of your turn? You can see that she looks very wounded by this.
Yes.
Perfect. Cool. As we then come to her turn, as she turns to you, Mirabelle, and you can see that this sort of lady who looks quite frail is quite sort of badly wounded, just pulls out from behind her sort of a little sickle. As she moves towards you, she sort of leaps towards you, quite nimble, and attacks you with this sickle. With a 17 to hit.
Yeah.
So that does hit for 2 slashing damage. And let me just check something really quick. 2
And
slashing, and also an additional 1 necrotic damage. So 3 damage total. Perfect. And
how's Mirabelle looking?
Slightly hurt, yeah.
that would be the end of her turn, as you then see the other cultist step up, angered by what you've done, Mirabelle, throwing fire towards her, and comes towards you again, this time with a ritual sickle as well, with an attack that is a 14 to hit.
Yeah, hits.
As she then does 3 points of additional damage to you, with 2 points slashing and 1 point necrotic.
Looking bloodied now.
Okay.
Perfect. And I would say that's the end of their turn, as we then come to Zelentrus.
Okay. Zelentrus kind of sees the situation that Mirabelle's in, and realizes it's probably time to start finishing these guys off. So he's going to move around, I think, to here.
Okay.
And I think the sensible thing to do, it might be a little bit boring, but the sensible thing to do is another Thunderwave.
Okay.
And hopefully maybe they hit the wall if they fail it this time. As I'm going to use another spells.
Can I quickly ask, Thunderwave?
Yes.
The spell itself.
Yes.
It does it have any text to it? It says, so it doesn't say anything about the noise. Oh, it's an unleashing
Yes.
of thunderous energy, right?
Yeah, thunderous boom, audible within 300 feet.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Just wanted to double check that.
Yeah. And also any unsecured objects that are entirely within the cube are pushed 10 feet away from me. So I imagine some of the tables and stuff
Yeah,
here
you've
have been
seen
blasted away and
chairs
things.
fall apart and candles go out. Like it's a bit of a mess in here. It was already a mess, even more so now.
Before I cast it, I will check one thing. Just the last time I cast it, did anything feel like it was going to get loose and fall or anything like that? Did it feel like a danger to cast the spell?
The room seemed pretty secure. The things within it just flew into walls. The walls themselves are very sturdy. They're solid rock, probably formed by the water over time. This is a cavern of sorts that looks very sturdy, including the ceiling.
Okay. Then, yeah, we'll go for it. We'll go for that, and we'll try to take him out.
Okay.
And then,
Perfect, thank you. This is a con save. Perfect. 14.
yes, please.
As the one in front of you rolls a nat 1, so is affected. And Glasha with an 18 successfully holds her ground, seeing this coming. As the first one is moved, is it 10 feet?
Yeah, 10 feet into Glasha, I guess.
I would say with a success, she probably avoids this
Okay.
and gets pushed past. Oh, sorry. Gets pushed past towards the wall here, but does take the full brunt of the damage, which is 9 thunder damage. As you see her hit against the wall, her head splits as she also falls and begins to bleed out onto the floor below you or in front of you. Why is this not
Okay, so she's not dead. She's bleeding out. Or is she
she
dead
looks
by...
she looks pretty dead. She does look pretty
Okay,
rough.
cool.
Yeah, you pushed her away with quite a force. She then smacked into the cavern wall and fell face first into the ground. As Glasha also takes an additional, with 9 damage, she takes an additional 4. As you see her also fall with sort of this tremble as she hits the ground head first and smacks her head against the rock as well, beginning to bleed out as her sort of skull is lying flat onto the ground. It's at this point where you guys have successfully stopped the cultist rituals, and I will say that combat has ended. But what you begin to hear is, I'm just looking for the thing. You begin to hear footsteps. You begin to hear what sounds like rustling and footfall coming from, you'd hear it coming from here, but it sounds like it's coming from the south, and it sounds heavy. It sounds metallic.
Well, it looks like there's only one way out of here. Is this like a bridge bit here? Sorry.
From what you can see, this looks like an opening. It seems like a very thin opening that appears to go, across sort of an opening. You would know that the river or the sewage is below that.
This is not good. Run across?
Oh, you're muted now. That's great.
Well, I can always play the victim, but yes, I guess I'll follow you.
So is that what you guys do?
Yeah, I guess we're running across the across the bridge.
Okay. As you begin to run across the bridge, as you get about halfway across it, you hear, "Where did the noise come from? Keep searching for it." And the sort of thump, 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 as of footsteps, as you hear what sounds like, I guess, sort of metal boots hitting the ground, as if it's running along in the sewers behind.
Does it sound like it could be guards?
You know what? You would know this is probably most likely the guards.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. Don't you have a more silent way to kill off baddies?
Well, not. Well, they're baddies. It's fine.
Ugh. I'm stuck here. I'm dirty and I'm with a murderer. Oh well.
What is it? Have you never killed before?
Of course not. A respectable lady. Well.
Well, neither have I.
Can I roll an insight on that?
I will allow you to roll an insight, and it will be against Zelentrus' deception here, if you're trying to deceive her.
Yeah, 12.
I only had 10.
Okay, Mirabelle, you're not sure. You can't read him, but it seems you don't know.
Yeah, we're running, so yeah.
You
I
don't
can't
really
read his
know.
facial expressions. Yeah, I get that.
I would say that at this point, as you guys get to just about the end of the bridge there, you hear, "There's a collapsed wall here!" As you guys enter a room that appears to have what looks like a crossbow, a loaded crossbow, aiming at like some sort of wooden door at the bottom of the room. There's not much else in this room, but you hear the footsteps getting louder behind you.
Shoot it! It might break the wall.
Okay. Zel will go to shoot it.
You press the release on the
Yeah.
crossbow. As you do so, it thuds into the door, and the wall sort of crashes open. As you can see, what appears to be in front of you is a man on a bed, a guard lying on a bed here, who's just been suddenly awoken. Wait, can you see him? Hold on.
No, not
I
yet.
put him on the wrong layer. There you go. As you see him lying on the bed, as he sort of sits upright with the wall sort of falling in, as bottles of wine and other alcohol have just sort of fallen to the floor and crashed, you hear behind you, footfall, and you hear somebody say, "There's bodies here! There's bodies!" As this gentleman says, "Stop where you are! Stop where you
cast
are!"
sleep again. I cast sleep again. Let him fall back asleep.
You're gonna cast sleep on the guard.
Yeah, let him fall.
Okay.
Let him fall back. Let him fall back
Sure.
asleep. He was sleeping.
Sure. If you cast sleep.
Zel at this point mutters under his breath, "I can't go to prison again."
Have you cast sleep?
Let the man sleep.
Let's see, where is it?
I'll hang on. I'll cast it for you.
No worries. DC of 15, right? 'Cause
15. Yeah, 15.
as he... Oh, I need to put it to public. As he rolls an 8, he actually rolled a 10, but it was on a whisper, so it didn't count. Anyway, so yes, he rolls an 8 and fails the DC. As you see him sort of go, "Stop where you are!" and then sort of falls back asleep onto the bed again. I will say that you've caused quite a noise with the launch of this crossbow, and you can also still hear footsteps behind you. I would say, Mirabelle, as you're closer towards the edge of sort of the where you guys came in, standing behind the crossbow still, I would say that you can hear people talking about the bodies behind you, and it sounds like they're like, "Where could they have gone?"
Well, I guess we press on.
Yeah, I say to Mirabelle, it's just like, I don't really do guards.
Okay, and what is it you guys do? And I'm gonna say that I will be moving things in the background, so it'll be up to you to figure out
run
what
up
to
the
do.
stairs. Run up the stairs.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
you look at the stairs, you notice that at the top of the stairs there appears to be a hatch.
Through the hatch.
You press against the hatch.
Yeah.
As you press the hatch, it appears locked.
Produce flame and try and burn something away.
You're gonna try and burn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you could throw that up in the chat, as I will hold things where they are. As you're producing this flame. 25, okay, yeah, definitely hits.
It's a wooden. I mean, it's a wooden hatch.
As you do 2 damage to it, it is a wooden hatch. As you do damage to it, the hatch appears to crack and sort of break and bustle, but there's still
Can we push through now?
there still appears to be a metal bar with a lock on it.
Yeah, I don't have heat metal, guys.
Holding it. It looks like it's very loose, and you're making a lot of commotion.
All right.
Let's just push it through.
You seem stronger than me. Yeah, we're together.
Together.
Okay, can I have a...
I will assist Mirabelle.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I need you to describe exactly what's happening here. I will let you know now. You probably get one go at this.
Yeah, maybe the two of us. How much space do we have exactly? Like, I mean,
It's
I've
a
burned
double
the
door trap door, so it looks like there's 2 doors that have been bolted together, which are thick wood. It's quite a big staircase. I think you'd have to go. You could probably stand on it together, and push if that's what you're trying to do. But it does appear like a thick piece of wood above you, with a lock on it.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we both need. Yeah, we both need all the strength we can get. Me and my friggin' -1.
Perfect. And
I've got a -2, so you know.
Something else.
And I will ask then, how are you assisting? Is it just you're just assisting her with the check, or
Aren't we just doing the same thing, basically?
I wait. I let Mirabelle lead the count, and we go at the same time. That's she leads, I help.
I will ask for both of you to roll for me a strength check, please.
Why have you got to be so mean?
The DC.
Officer is doing strength check.
I have a DC for this, so let's see what you guys do.
An 11. And
Oh, and a
The
7.
DC was 20, and your
Cool.
combined strength check is an 11 plus 7, so 18. As you unsuccessfully push against this door and don't see anything bustle. It's at this point where you see 2 guards appear at the doorway. Halt! Stay where you are!
I immediately freeze in place.
You freeze in place? Yeah. Zelentrus.
Zelentrus kind of pulls himself together for a second. My guards, we thought that you were more of those cultists.
Cultists? Hold it where you are!
Yes, the cultists that were through there, the ones that we saved the city by slaying.
You slayed them?
Yes, they were creating giant evil rats like the one in the sack down there.
That was not sanctioned. You're under arrest.
Well, they attacked us.
Come and there will be no harm done to you. As you then see the 3rd guard wakes up.
Come on, we were just trying to live.
Yes.
Can I roll persuasion? Can I roll persuasion?
You can definitely roll persuasion.
Okay. Oh, why were my rolls so bad? It's an 11.
You had all your nat 20s at the beginning. As you roll an 11, as you try and persuade him, he pulls out his manacles and says, Come here. Don't resist. We'll hear your side of the story. You'll get your chance to speak. But for now, you are under arrest, under the order of the Sylvanthal City Guard. And it is there where we call tonight's session, as the 2 of you are now bound in manacles and being led out. The guard who was asleep pulls out the key in his pocket and unlocks the trapdoor to lead you up to the surface. And it's from there that they are taking you to, most likely, a jail cell. And that is where we call tonight's 0.5 session.
This is literally the worst, ending to a 0.5 for Sal. Nothing could be worse for his situation right now.
Well,
I already lost my job. At least I'll have a home now.
We successfully had our 0.5. Nobody died. Well done.